The U.S. Navy says it plans to begin converting the first of its Zumwalt-class destroyers to launch hypersonic missiles in the 2024 fiscal year. The weapon that will be integrated is the Future Intermediate-Range Conventional Prompt Strike, or IRCPS, hypersonic missile. The launchers for these missiles, which will be the triple-packed Advanced Payload Module canisters, will replace the 155mm Advanced Gun Systems. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how the U.S. Navy plans to add hypersonic missiles in Zumwalt-class warships. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. The Zumwalt-class destroyers have 80 Mark 57 cells protected by the Peripheral Vertical Launch System, PVLS, as well as two 155mm guns. Each Mark 57 can carry a single SM-2 or SM-6 long-range surface-to-air missile, ASROC anti-submarine rocket torpedo, or up to 4 evolved Sea Sparrow short-range surface-to-air missiles. Importantly, they can also carry Tomahawks. The two 155mm advanced gun systems were supposed to be capable of engaging targets with precision-guided shells at a range of up to 60 miles or 95 kilometers. The Long-Range Land Attack Projectile, or LRLAP, the precision-guided shell that would arm the ship's guns, saw cost escalation from $50,000 a round to $800,000. The U.S. Navy, for this reason, canceled LRLAP. Starting in 2016, discussion ensued regarding the replacement of advanced gun systems since the guns without ammunition were useless. The U.S. Navy's budget request for the 2022 fiscal year, released earlier this year, had revealed that the service hopes to reach initial operation capability with IRCPS missiles from its Zumwalt-class ships by the end of 2025. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Mike Gilday had earlier confirmed the basic plan for adding hypersonic missiles to these destroyers during a talk at an event hosted by the Center for Strategic and Budgetary Assessments think tank in April. Lieutenant Louis Aldridge, a spokesperson for the Navy's Office of the Chief of Information, told Naval News, "The DDG-1000 Dry Docking Selected Restricted Availability DSRA will begin in FY 2024. The Navy began engineering planning efforts to accommodate integration of CPS on Zumwalt-class destroyers, which includes removal of advanced gun system mounts and installation of Advanced Payload Module (APM) launcher technology. Viewers may note that the U.S. Navy is also planning to integrate IRCPS onto its future Block 5 Virginia-class submarines. The IRCPS missile is essentially a hypersonic boost glide vehicle. In this method, the system is launched to extremely high altitudes using a rocket booster, where it skips across the Earth's upper atmosphere. The vehicle then separates from the carrier and glides back to the Earth towards its intended target, attaining hypersonic speed, which is more than Mach 5. The vehicle will also be able to maneuver in flight, unlike traditional ballistic missiles, and is much faster than a typical cruise missile. The combination of high speed and ability to take an unpredictable path will make the missile a lethal weapon. there is no dependable way to intercept this kind of weapon at present. Viewers may note that the U.S. Navy was put in charge of developing a common hypersonic glide body that will ultimately serve as the base for the joint force, providing an alternative to nuclear weapons for strategic retaliatory strikes. Only a few countries are pursuing this kind of weapon at present, since they're technologically very difficult to develop. The U.S. Navy has commissioned 2 Zumwalt-class destroyers in service, USS Zumwalt and USS Michael Monsoor. The third ship in the class, the future USS Lyndon B. Johnson, is still in the process of being fitted out. Lieutenant Aldridge said that the IRCPS launch systems would only occupy spaces previously occupied by the advanced gun systems, and that there are no plans to add any additional vertical launch system (VLS) cells to the Zumwalt-class destroyers. The U.S. Navy didn't reveal how many IRCPS missiles will be loaded in each of the 3 stealth destroyers. Some reports indicate that up to 12 of these weapons could be accommodated onto each ship in the future. It's likely that 2 triple-packed advanced payload modules will take the place of each of the 2 advanced gun systems turrets. The advanced payload module will have to be pretty large compared to Mark 57 cells present in Zumwalt or Mark 41 cells present in Arleigh Burke destroyers and Ticonderoga-class cruisers. This is mainly because the developmental IRCPS missile is expected to be larger than a missile like Tomahawk. For comparison, IRCPS would most likely be 34.5 inches in diameter and around 30 feet in length, while Tomahawk is 20.5 inches in diameter and has a length of around 20.5 feet. Zumwalt class has been an expensive, very long, and almost painful undertaking. But the class is one of a kind and has a lot of potential. Zumwalt's stealth characteristics will enable it to sneak in undetected near the target, and a hypersonic missile launched from the relatively close range will be nearly impossible to stop. The 3 Zumwalt-class warships could be assigned missions which might be suicide assignments for conventional surface vessels. Since the number of IRCPS missiles will be limited, these will be used against high-value targets that seat inside the most advanced air and missile defenses, and potentially time-sensitive targets. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.